Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Tuesday Talk. I'm Brenda, I'm your host, and here we are again gathering around our tables collectively all over, and we are enjoying one another and having an opportunity to share with other ladies from around the world. And I'm looking now and seeing all these beautiful faces popping up in our Zoom, and I am blessed beyond belief. For those of you that are watching the replay, welcome, and please feel like you're here with us. Leave comments, make comments, leave questions, and we'll get back to you because we want to truly, whatever our dialogue is for today, we truly want to extend that to those that are able to watch and a replay. And if you're listening by podcast, blessings, blessings, blessings. We're so happy that you are here with us. And we hope that the Holy One will speak to you right where you are for such a time as this. So, hello, and I am so blessed today that Charlie's here. Hey,
Good morning.
Charlie.
Good morning. Good
So good to see
morning.
you. Now, you, sister, you are all the way across the country.
I am doing an allergy this morning, so sorry, I'm trying to mute myself so I'm not. But yes, oh my gosh, I'm having such a great time meeting so many of you in person that live in the Tennessee area that are all up here around Knoxville. We've had a blast. My dance card is full, and I'm excited that I get to hang out with you guys this morning because I missed you. I need my girls.
I know we have to gather around, especially in this time right now. Oh, Misty said, grab some local honey. There you go.
Oh,
Ah,
great. Good idea. Yeah, great idea.
that's good. Hey, Katie Foster, I want to say hello to you because, oh, while you're eating, um, I just wanted to say hello to you because some of you, and if there's any of you, same thing is happening, please, unmute, say hello. Some of you ladies are on spring break that are in the school system or in that uh, time frame of having spring break, I guess it's called now, right? Or am I right? Is this spring break? Okay. And I know that you have not been able to join us for a long time because of that. So I just wanted to say hello and honor you and thank you so much for being here with us today. And how are things going? What's the Holy One been speaking to you, Katie?
Mm.
Not to put you on the spot or anything. Go.
Good, I kept my mouth full. um. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes, huh?
Mm-hmm. I think
Ah,
right now it's just honestly, it's been so busy. I don't know that I've had chances to really hear a
uh-huh.
whole lot right now.
Mhm.
And but with work, my head teacher, her granddaughter has it's called KTS. It's where all the blood vessels are on the skin basically, and there's extra blood vessels of her leg. So she's had 14 COVID tests because every time she goes to the doctor, you have to have a COVID test.
Mhm.
This granddaughter, she's 6 years old. She's had 24 surgeries. Today is 25. And uh, this will be her third skin graft. And so right now I've just been having basically to keep our classroom going. We have about 20 K through 6 students that we provide services for. And so just to keep my head above water
Mm.
lately has been as about as much as I've been able to do.
Wow.
So just trying to
Wow.
support her so that she feels like she can go and be with her granddaughter and her daughter, and because
Mhm.
we live in a teeny tiny town in southeast Colorado, and they have to go to Denver to the Children's Hospital each time, and which is about 3 hours away, 2.5. But now, well, it's been winter, so
Yeah.
and so yeah, it's been very overwhelming.
Mm. Uh, Katie, when you were talking, it's really funny. I just noticed that you have a waterfall in your background right now, your little virtual background. There's a waterfall. And when you were talking, I didn't see that. I mean, maybe my brain picked it up. I don't know, but I didn't notice it. But as you were talking, I just sensed that the river of life is flowing all around you, and I'm asking, Holy One, will you refresh? Will you restore? Will you bring a fresh water? Will you bring restoration? Will you bring strength, Holy One? Will you wash away the cares of the world and establish within us this strength of who you are and how you are going about so intricately caring for your little ones, for your precious ones. Thank you, Father, for reaching your hand out and touching and ministering and being in the moments and being in the tomorrows of every one of those precious ones that you've put into our life. So, Father, I thank you that right now, right here and right now, that you've brought Katie to us so that as sisters, we can clasp hands, we can reach around her and support her and encourage her. And Father, for every one of our sisters, every single one of them, will you show us how to bring support and encouragement and strength of unity with each and every one of our sisters. And today, Father, may they each feel, each one that's hearing your voice today, each one that is seeking after you today, Father, would you please allow them to recognize the strength that you are, not only that you have placed within them, but that you are drawing from them, that your rivers within them are being able to flow out to the nations. Thank you, Father, for bringing strength upon my sister's head and establishing her steps and giving her words of wisdom and encouragement and counsel from your throne room. We thank you, Father. Any of our sisters right now, there's so much going on right now. Thank you, Katie, for being vulnerable and sharing that with us. We really appreciate it, because there's a lot going on in the world right now, isn't there? And sometimes we rush to rest, right? We rush to relax. We rush to, and and I think that today, as I see that river, that flowing waterfall right behind you, I'm really sensing that what he wants to do for us is bring a refreshing and a rest to our souls, even in the midst of all of the busyness, even in the midst of all of the things that he is having us do. And I hope that each one of us can enter in to that, however it is that he is placing that within you today. Uh, blessings, and may you just really feel and sense within yourself that strength being built up within you. Wow, you have an amazing job. A lot of you women are just, I mean, all of you women are just world changers, and you're doing it one at a time, one person at a time, one situation at a time. You're world changers. And I said that to somebody one time, and they corrected me. And I thought, well, what did I say that was wrong about being a world changer? And I think what they were thinking was that I was thinking that if I say one thing, the whole world is going to change. But really, what I see is that each one of us, with the breath that we've been given, with the words that we've been given, with the ability to speak life, each one of us doing that is totally changing the world, because it's changing the atmosphere around us, which changes the world. Charlie, I remember years ago you were talking about something about the butterfly effect. I think that's what that was.
It's the butterfly effect. Most of you probably know that. I mean, it's just crazy that you can have one butterfly can be flapping its wings on one side of the planet, and it causes it causes weather changes to the extreme, even to the extreme of hurricanes and things all the way over on the other side of the planet just by changing the atmosphere. And just our vibrations of the thought is, the vibrations of what we speak, the things that we say, the things that we think, oh, they're not making a big difference. But the way that we're changing our atmosphere, even if it's you're isolated right now, or you're not around, you think I'm not around people, you have the ability to change the atmosphere with your device, with sending a voice message to someone. Sometimes instead of texting all the time, what if you use your voice and just send a little voice message so they actually hear you? Because there's women who are needing to hear a voice.
Yes. Thank you for that, Sarita. You wanted to share something? Thank you, Charlie. I love that. I don't want
Yeah.
to leave there. I want to keep that. Hi, Sarita.
Hey, I've been learning to be more vulnerable and open and transparent. So I know I've missed the last few weeks, and I got the email and I looked at it this morning and I'm like, oh yeah, it's Tuesday. And then I looked at the times and I realized that I was logging on at the wrong times. So I was
Sister, I've been posting the wrong times. I mean, I need to wear my glasses when I post. Really? I'm sorry. Always check, double check, everybody, double check.
No, you're fine. And so it was just really funny. I'm like, okay, 10 o'clock Tuesdays. I'm like, oh, that's a free time for me. So I can actually log on. And so I logged in today, and I had my video on, and then I'm in my kitchen, so I put it up on my window, and then I looked at what everyone else could see, and I'm like, ooh, I'm turning my video off. And I turned it off. And then I was like, nope, turn it back on.
We need to see your face.
And I was like, why am I turning it off? And I'm like, because it's a mess back there. Those are dishes from like a week and a half. I have not kept up on my housework. I'm just really overwhelmed. And, I don't know if a lot of you may not know, but I think you guys know, like my husband died in July. And so I'm a new widow, and I'm just like still processing a lot of stuff. And I just get those moments where I'm just like, okay, I got something done today, but everything's not going to get done. And the Lord has really been speaking to me about just worship. And I like to listen to sermons a lot because I like to hear the word. Like, that's my thing. Like, I want to hear the word. Like, I read my Bible mostly every day. I have, as God's grace is so awesome, but I like to listen to sermons. But actually for a while, for probably years, it was like, oh, I should listen to some worship music. And I would listen to worship music, but then I would always go back to the sermons, and I'm like, no, you need to stay in this place right now. So I think it was Sunday and Monday, like I was really intentional about not hitting a sermon when I was listening to like music on YouTube, like, other stuff comes up, and I was like, you know what, I just need to put my playlist on, so then it just plays through the whole thing and I'm not distracted by that. And so that's what I did. And so I'm just trying to do that because I know that when I do that, it really just helps me to be in the presence of God in a different way. And so like, I'm gonna be doing dishes during our call. So I'm listening. And I actually have another call at 11. I'm like, but it's from 11 to 11:30. So I'm probably going to pop out and then pop back in. But
do it. Feel the freedom.
Yeah. And so but I was just like, nope, I need to be real about this. And then, my birthday's on Thursday. And so there's a part of me that's like, okay, am I just going through a midlife crisis? It's like, no, you're not. Your husband died and you're just still trying to figure things out because it wasn't like I had a good schedule before he died. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that's like, oh, if people were out of my way, I could just get stuff done. And it's like, yeah, that's not true. It's something with you. So I've had to deal with Sarita and learn who Sarita is now. And so I'm like, you're going to be 39. You should have this together by now. And it's like, yeah, but you don't. So let's get it together now, So it's like having that grace for myself. And
so. Charlie said, feel the grace pouring over you, Sarita. Yes.
Thank
grace.
You for letting me share.
Grace. Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Charlie, did you want to say something? Happy birthday.
That's it.
Thank you.
Happy birthday to you.
A happy birthday to you. Every day of the year, may you find Yeshua near. A happy birthday
to you. A happy
birthday to you,
you.
and the best one that you've ever had. There you
Had big finish.
go.
Had.
Jazz hands. Yay!
Yay. Happy birthday. We love you. And you
Thank
know
you.
what? Today is the day where you get to feel the grace of the Holy One pouring over you. And you are ahead of the game. You're not behind. You are right where you need to be right this minute. And he is surrounding you, not only with us, but with his presence. He's just bringing his presence to surround you and keep you and hold you. And that's not fake, ethereal wishing. That's the absolute creator of the universe who is surrounding you, sister, right now. And that's real. Just as the blood is pumping through your veins, it's real. And he's surrounding you and he's loving you. And look at, he sent us all to sing happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That
we
may or may
love
not
you.
be a good thing.
Well,
It was
you
beautiful.
know,
Thank you.
Charlie can sing. I can't. I fake it, and
Not
you can tell.
today.
Yeah,
Love
you can
it.
tell.
Love you
Yeah.
so much.
Oh, we love you
You know
so
what?
much.
Just know we get it. I mean, just know that it's
Yeah.
okay to not be okay. We get it. It's your birthday, your first one alone. So
Yeah.
we love you. We're here for you, sister.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Oh, so good. So good. So good. And I'm so glad you're here. And you go ahead and pop out. And if you want to take the screen off or however you want to do it, you just do it. Okay. You just feel that freedom, but we're just so happy that you're here. We're just so happy that you're here. So this week, we're going into this book, the Torah scroll is unrolling for us this week. This Vayikra. Whoo-wee. And he called. That's right where we are because he's calling us. What's he calling us to? Well, when we're reading the first few chapters of this beautiful book of Vayikra, Leviticus in English, he's calling us into holiness. Well, here we are in the midst of, I didn't even clean up my office. I'm with you, Sarita. I'm like, yeah, well, it's a good thing I have clothes on today. So it's all good. But he's calling us to this place of holiness. And what does that look like in real time, for real? What does that look like? What does that mean to be called into holiness? What does that mean to be a holy people? What does that mean? And that's what he's teaching us this week in our Torah portion. So what that looks like. And it's building upon everything from creation and him setting things in order, establishing things, establishing the Shabbat, and then moving us into this exodus of how he draws us out of the things of bondage and into freedom in relationship with him. And now he's teaching us how to be that precious bride, how to be holy before him. And that's the book of Vayikra. And I don't want anyone to be scared of this book. This is not just a book where a whole bunch of laws are being thrown at you to make us feel bad. That's not what's happening here. What's happening here is we're actually looking into the heart of the Holy One, and we're getting to see how he sees things and what he says things are, so that we can learn to be like him, so that we can follow after him. I don't want to get too deep into that today because I know that there's some conversations. Yes, Sarita. Yes, it's seriously it's my favorite book, which is crazy, but it's my favorite book. But I really want to get into some conversations about that. But I know that because that's where we're at right now, that is something that's being drawn within each and every one of us. And sometimes that's going to look like we feel like we're not measuring up. Sometimes that's what that's going to look like. But in reality, what he's doing is strengthening us where we are and giving us the tools to be able to move forward, letting some things go, grabbing hold of other things, being strengthened, having relationships, deciding what those are, having choices, walking in discernment. These are all the things that we're learning how to do. We're learning as we go. So I don't want anyone to feel like, oh, I can't do it. It's too hard. No, because Yeshua is right here in the midst of all of it. And he's like, I haven't put a heavy yoke on you. What I've done is I'm carrying the heavy yoke, and you partner with me, and we're going to walk this way. Okay, there we go. That's what we get to do. It's what we get to do. It's not telling us that this is a list of things that you don't measure up to. That's not what this is about. Yeah. And also we get to start dreaming, and we get to start thinking about how things are progressing, and how we can have hope for the future. And I think that's a really important message right now for everyone, is that he's saying there's hope for your future. This isn't the end right here. There's hope for your future. And now let me walk with you through this, and let me bring people around you to support you. Let me bring people that are going to lift you up and hold you up and pray for you and encourage you, and speak truth to you when you need it. Yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. So anyone have anything that they want to say? Anything they want to share about that? No? Misty, are you working? Oh. She's probably in the middle of having a conference with her boss right now, and I'm interrupting her. Does anyone have anything that they'd like to share? I'll check out the chat. Yes, it's one of a beautiful sisters. Thank you, Sarita.
Isn't it fun? This is the book that we know that is the first book that kids are actually they start children in, and you'd think, oh, why aren't they start in Genesis? That's not where they start children. When they begin teaching them, they start them in this book, in Vayikra. They start in this book, telling them who they've been called to, telling them what they've been called to, reinforcing who they are. So very cool. I'm sorry, Mickey, did I jump in front of you?
Yeah. Oh, no.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, I thought you went on mute. So I said, did I jump in front of you?
No, you're fine. It's just so funny that, so I'm a teacher. I teach resource students, and I'm off for spring break. And so this is my first ever Tuesday talk that I've got to be on. I didn't know I was going to be on, so I don't have any makeup on.
You're perfect.
Just did a facial. Feeling good.
You look beautiful.
You're glowing.
Yes, it's honey and coconut. But everything that you have just said, there is a reason why I'm here today.
Yes.
So good.
And I'm not going to say anymore because I'll cry.
Yeah. You're right where you're right here with us, and we're right here with you. And that's, he's a good father, right? Yeah, you can share, because we're all about tears on Tuesday Talk. Tuesday Talk tears, we do it. Well, I do it.
I don't like to cry in front of people. So
okay.
I know some of your faces, and that's about it. But yeah, I just, for the last several weeks, God has been calling me to prayer. And so when you said, this is calling you, I was like, oh, because I'm just going to say it. I don't like prayer. It intimidates me, and I don't quite know how to do it. So, my prayers are short little thank you, Gods, and please help me, Gods. And everybody has all these wonderful prayers and these beautiful words. And I'm just like, I don't quite know what to say. So I've been reading, I read Halisa's book on the Amidah, the standing prayer. And so I thought, okay, well, maybe I can do that. And still haven't, I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. But so that's where I'm working right now. I think and I need to pray to him. I need him every day. This Passover season, about 3 years ago, I got a divorce because my husband decided he wanted to be a woman. And so my children have had a really hard time with it.
Oh my gosh.
And so this Passover is the first one where they're like, I don't know that God exists. And I can't really blame them because they were brought up in the faith, and then all of a sudden everything was yanked away from them. So I need to pray to him, so I need to hear him.
I don't want you to feel alone, Mickey, because I mean, Brenda and I were just having this conversation that I love listening to other women praying, because it makes me realize not how inadequate I am at prayer, because I'm not going to put that on myself anymore. But I realized like so many people had these amazing prayers. And then I started joining on the prayers with Deborah Flanagan on Tuesdays and Thursdays, even if I just popped in for a little bit. And you want to know why, Mickey? So I could listen to how they prayed. So I could hear other women praying, because I feel like I had forgotten how to pray. And I say that to my husband. He was like, you just talk to Dad. You just talk to him. I talk to him all the time. And I feel like I have an attitude of prayer all day long. But then I'd hear other women, they were just like, get in there, and they were praying and they had all these words. And I was like, I'm not that person, you know? And so I would think I had this mindset that I had to be on my knees and there had to be this thing. And I'm listening to them pray. And what's happened is I'm watching myself, I'm praying again. And I remember even reading like Stormy O'Martin's, like The Power of the Praying Mother, or, you know, her series, and I would pray those prayers. And I have a little prayer book from my friend Gretchen, who wrote it. And I just pray it out loud, because it's like I'm hearing someone else's words, the way that they pray. And I think that's okay. I think that we're not around hearing a bunch of women praying anymore, so we forget how to do it, or we don't know how to do it. So thank you for being vulnerable, because I literally was just saying this to Brenda before we got on, that I was listening to women praying, and she was praying for me. It was Bonnie Manning. I was at one of the events the other nights, and she was praying over me, and she was talking about someone who had hurt me. She was praying. She said, I feel like there's a family member who maybe has wounded you. And I'm like, well, I haven't talked to my sister in a couple of years. You know, she thinks I'm in a cult. And she was like, well, so she started praying, and she said, Father, I just pray that you would convict her heart, that you would convict her, that the words that she's spoken, the wounds that she's brought, that you would bring conviction to her, so it would stir her to healthy wholeness. And I was like, I forgot I could pray for God to convict, the Holy Spirit to convict someone of going the right direction. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm being vulnerable to you guys. I was like, I forgot. I don't know. So Mickey, it's okay. We can like hold hands and not know how to pray together. Okay. Because there's very few women. I know if you listen to Linda Millett pray, good Lord, I'm intimidated. I'm like, I'm not a prayer warrior like that. That's not, I don't want to say it's not my gift, but I don't communicate. If you text me a message, I'm going to say, okay, with a smiley face. And then I have friends who will send me like long dissertations with all the emojis. And I'm like, that's just not me. I'm a text message. I'm a quick, and he knows who you are, you know? And so obviously as you're in a mindfulness of praying all day long, but I love that that's your heart now, is that he's stirring that in you, because, you know, he wants that with you too. So I don't know if that helped, but I just want you to know you're not alone. And I'll let you know that I have this little book that I'm really loving. It's a short little prayers, and it prompts me, because I think that's what I need. And the other thing I do is I'm journaling. I prayer journal because that feels more comfortable to me than just like, well, here we are, we're praying, you know? So I have a journal and I pray that way. Like I'm writing him a letter like this. So that helps me. I don't know if that's helpful.
Yeah. So far I'm just thinking, if I can just pray the beautiful prayers of the standing prayer, I mean, they pretty much cover it all, and maybe that'll just give me the kickstart to come up with my own.
Mhm.
People talk about praying for hours, and I'm like, wow, I might, if I do 2 or 3 minutes, I'm really pouring my heart out there.
I love that. Yeah. And the Amida is really a beautiful place to start. And just I love that. I love that in the Amida when you're reading it, it's kind of like these these wise ones who have it's gone through centuries and centuries and centuries, and they get it, and it's like when you're praying, you feel like you're joining with witnesses that have been praying for a long, long time, and they get it. You know what I mean? It's like we don't have to try to come up, we don't have to try to figure out how to do it. You know what I mean? It's just like you could do that.
Can you
Yeah.
share with ladies like what the Amida is? Because there might be someone on here who doesn't know what that is, or where to find it, or what you're talking about. So
Yeah, I apologize.
that's okay.
I
We
need
just
to
that's just a word that we don't. There might be someone who doesn't know
Right.
that word. So
Right.
Well,
I'll
get
tell you.
Halisa's book. It took me the entire snowstorm of Texas being shut down to work my way through it, because she just has 2 or 3 pages about, she has the prayer and then she explains it all. And then in the back, there's questions. And I read it and said, oh yeah, I got it. And then I'd go back to the questions, and then I'd have to spend an hour trying to answer all the questions. Because, they're such beautiful words. And right now I forget my words a lot. I'll be
Mhm.
talking to people I've known forever, and then I forget their name, or I forget the next words in my sentence. My friend calls me Meemaw. But so just someone giving me pretty words helps me a lot. That way I don't have to try to remember them.
Oh, that's lovely. I apologize. I didn't, I don't have in here, it's not in my office. The Amida prayer, there are prayers that the sages have been praying for centuries and centuries and centuries and centuries. And we can link you to, is Linda Millett on here? She has it. Yeah, Linda. You're on here. You can jump in anytime. We can link you to that, and it's just these beautiful prayers. They're also in a siddur. If you have a siddur, and if you don't worry about it. It's a book. It's a book of prayers and protocols and things like that. No big deal. But that's what the Amida prayer is. It's a standing prayer. It's one of the very first ones that you pray if you are following the tradition. Sometimes traditions are really awesome, guys. Sometimes traditions are somebody who's gone before you, not just one person, but hundreds and thousands of people have gone before you, and they've laid out these beautiful prayers. And when we join with them, it's like they cover everything. It covers things that you wouldn't even think about to pray. It's really beautiful. Yeah, we will. I'm going to link that. And I'm asking Linda Millett if you want to hyperlink that. You know who I think who has it too, very easy to find, is Hebrew for Christians, Hebrew, and then the number 4 Christians.org, I believe. And if you look on their site, they have the prayers all written out for you, and they're in English, and they're in transliterated Hebrew, and they're in Hebrew. So you can look at the whole thing, but you can say it and you can read it. And that's one of the ones that I have. Yeah. And it's Hebrew for Christians.org, I believe. I believe it's .org. Somebody can correct me on
it's
that.
Amida. It's AMUDAH, correct?
AMIDAH.
Oh.
Amida.
I spelled it
Yeah.
wrong. Sorry.
Oh, no, that's fine. No, you got it. You got it. Yeah, beautiful. So that's really neat, Mickey, that you're actually looking at those. And is this the book that you have?
No, I have the one. It's just called The Standing Prayer.
The Standing Prayer
that she wrote, and she goes through and just it's beautiful. I mean,
fantastic. So is it a Becky book? Is it a Becky book, or is it you just found it on Amazon?
I just went through and ordered everything that she's ever written.
Oh.
It's just prayer is kind of my thing right now. That's the one I started with, and then we had a big snowstorm, and so yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, so if anyone else wants that, we will link. Let me make a note. Then we can make some links. So
One of these days, I'm going to actually finish all the books that I've purchased.
yeah. Well, and we have all eternity to study, because that's what the sages say, you know. Eternity is all about everybody gathering around the tables and studying and learning and growing. And how exciting will that be? Can you imagine?
Yeah, I wrote on there, Mickey, I'm having lunch with Halisa on Thursday. I will tell her that you bought everything and that you are devouring it and really, really loving it all. So
I do her Monday night class, and it usually takes me Monday night, and then I have to listen to it again the next day. And it's really a little above me, but
That's good. It's a
maybe I'll get something.
Yeah, it's good. No, you will. You will. I'm in that too, and I'm like, whoa. Ooh.
it gets better. It gets better because the first few times I had to listen to each thing like 3 times because I was like, wow, this is like making my head hurt. Like I think this is too much. I'm like, wow, I thought I had like a grasp on like college courses, but this is like college course on steroids, like doctorate degree college course. And but what I found is then now I only have to listen to it like twice or 1.5 times, so you start absorbing it. It's like it's an immersion program. So you just jump in and take 1 or 2 things, and next year listen to it again, and you'll grab more and you'll grab more and you'll grab more. Isn't that beautiful about how that works?
It really is beautiful because, you can listen to the same thing 20 times and in 20 times, you're going to get 20 different things from it. You're going to get more and more and more. And so it is, I love how you said that, Charlie. It's an immersion program. Linda Millett just put in the chat, she just put a link to, she didn't put a link, but she said the link for Chabad. So Chabad, CHA.
She did put the link up.
Oh, is it up higher?
Yeah, it's up higher at 1140. If you scroll up to 1140, she put it up there.
Okay, perfect. So there's a hyperlink there. Fantastic. And then the Hebrew4Christians.com. I apologize. It's Hebrew for the number 4 Christians.com. And you can under /prayers, you can go in there and find the prayers. And those are really good. And maybe that'll be one of the things coming up one day in the foundations class with Misty. We can always hope, right? That would be great. So, okay, wonderful. All right. So I got distracted. Sorry, I can't do chats and talk. Can't do it. Just can't do it. Anyway, I wanted to share real quick something, if we can, about holy. And then I'm done with this subject, but I really wanted to share something about holy. Okay, so the word holy, because we're going to be reading it a lot in the book of Vayikra in Leviticus, we're going to be reading a lot about holy. Holy is spelled, it's kadosh, and we would say it kadosh, and it's spelled with 3 Hebrew letters: the Kof, the Dalet, and the Shin. It's 3 letters. I wish I had a graphic for you. I apologize. The first letter, the Kof, it's a walled off space. It's a place that it looks kind of like this, guys. It's like 2 letters put together, but they don't touch. So there's this letter right here, it's a cough, and then there's this long letter here, which is like a nun sofit, and they don't touch. But what it's the image, the picture of this word is a walled off space, or something that's separated and set apart, something that is special and not just like a huge, whatever rambling around. It's set apart. So it's a walled off area, and that's the Kof. And then the Dalet, we all know what the Dalet is because you hear me talk about it all the time. The Dalet is the doorway. It's the doorway or the entrance into something else, into the next realm or the next level. It's an entrance into. So for instance, in practicality, my doorway. When I walk through my doorway, I'm leaving the space that I'm in and I'm entering into another space. And that's what the door represents, is that entrance into another space. So we have this walled off, separate, something that's happening that's being separated. And then we have this doorway. And then what is the doorway taking us into? Where is that path taking us to? The third letter is the sheen, and the sheen is like, it looks like this. And it represents fire. It's the word fire is esh, esh, esh. And that's the word for fire in Hebrew. And the fire is the presence, the manifest presence of God. And the letter sheen is, when you see the letter sheen, it's like the stamp, it's the stamp of his presence. It represents the mighty manifest presence of the Holy One. So if we have 3 letters that make up the word holy, if we look at the picture image, it kind of draws us into this visual of a people that are set apart. They're not the norm. They're set apart. They're being separated. And there's a doorway. Now, they can either be walking through the doorway or they can be reaching through the doorway. They can be leading people into the separation, leading the separated ones into the doorway, into the manifest presence of the Holy One. They can be a holy people that are reaching through the realm of the doorway and reaching to the manifest presence of the Holy One and bringing that into their sphere. So either way, those are the 3 letters that make up the word holy. And isn't that the truth about holiness? Because holiness is being set apart for a purpose. That's when he says, be holy, he's saying, be set apart for a purpose. Let me show you how I see things. That's the book of Leviticus. Let me show you how I see things. Let me tell you what I say about that. Let me tell you what I call that. Let me tell you how I'm going to deal with your wounds. Let me show you how I want you to come before me. And it's being set apart, and it's walking through that doorway into the realm of his presence. And so I hope that little image helps you, blesses you, encourages you, and it's not far away, because the set apart people are the ones that he's called, and he never leaves us or forsakes us. So being set apart doesn't mean you're left alone. It means that you are being set apart from everything that's normal all around you, and there's a separation that's occurring. So thoughts on that? Anyone?
I just think that knowing that this is not a book, we're jumping into this new book that's not about rules and regulations, and it's about how to approach him, how to be in his presence, how to pray, how to and knowing that it's perfect isn't a great translation for that word. It's about being set apart. It's not being common.
Yeah.
You're not common.
Yeah.
You are a treasure. This isn't just about these priests. This is about you. He's saying you are set apart. You are my treasure. I mean, yeah, it's pretty cool. Ruth has her hand up.
Ruth.
Hi, sisters. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, that's just so powerful because, I just shared an analogy that a friend actually shared with me, and she described the tabernacle, right? Just like what you were saying. And the way I see it, I think she used different words, but I couldn't quite remember. Just that friends, we have different friendships and seasons, and that, like you mentioned, with the door, the gate, of the tabernacle, that sometimes in our outer court we'll have, friendships, and not that they mean anything less, or that we'll love them less, but there's those who enter through the gate into our inner court, right? And those are the friends that we want to hold on to, that we want to lock arms with and just run with, because our sanctification journey, like what you've been saying, what's been repeated is not meant for us to do it alone. We're meant to come together and just work towards it together. And so it's so beautiful. I'm just so grateful for this community, because I had a hard time really applying Torah in simple, practical ways, like to my spiritual life. It's like a lot of this stuff, I feel like I'm hearing it for the first time, even though I've been on this walk for like almost 10 years. So
you and me both.
I'm just like blown away and really just humbled and I mean our walk to get to that, right? To do the temple, just make ourselves worthy with one another, with our brothers and sisters, just as we want to be unto our Father. It's just the connections. There's just so much, and I'm really enjoying it, just learning and growing with you ladies. So thank you.
We feel the same way, don't we, Charlie? We are not coming from a place like Ruth, we feel like we know everything.
Ruth, Thursday, or what night was it? Sunday night, when I went to Rosh Kodesh with Keisha and all these ladies, I'm sitting there, and I didn't even tell Brenda this. I was sitting there and Keisha was asking questions of everyone, like, okay, what it is, and she was calling on people to answer, and I'm praying, God, please don't let her call me. Please don't let her call me. I'm not going to know the answer. Please don't call on me, because I feel like even 20 years in, I feel like I just got started. Like, I don't know that. I love the humility of that, though. Like, I'm embracing it instead of, I'm like, the more you know, the more you don't know. And I believe, for me personally, he allows me to forget, so I don't get prideful that I know all these things.
Yeah.
That the next year it's fresh and new, that I have new eyes like a child, that each year is new and I get to add more to it, instead of like, oh, I know that. Because I have talked to people that I get so excited that I've learned something new or renewed that I forgot because I knew it before, because I've been through menopause. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And they're like, yeah, I learned that like 10 years ago. I know that. And you're like, oh. And that just reminded me, like, I never want to be that person. So never feel stupid. I think that was Brenda. That was one of the first things I said to you. And I said, I wanted to start the Rooted Cafe, was because I wanted somewhere else that I wasn't the only one who could be like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest thing.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, not going to be like, yeah, we all knew that.
We knew that years ago, whatever. No.
Yeah, no.
I hope we never say that. If we ever do, jump on me.
Yeah, please. I'll never want to be that person. I'm so excited because always tell us the new things you're learning.
Yeah.
Because we probably forgot it.
Yeah.
And most of us need the refreshing. It's like when you take your children to Disneyland and they're seeing things for the first time, or wherever. I just made that, up thing. So they're going through something for the first time, or the ocean they've never been. And you could just see it through their eyes. I love seeing this life through fresh eyes.
Yes.
And most of the time I'm the fresh eyes, because I feel like I don't know anything. So there's that.
We're not alone in that. Okay. So next Tuesday, Lord willing, we're going to have Miriam Stallsworth on the Tuesday Talk. We're going to be visiting with her and picking her brain and chit-chatting with her. She is the co-host with Dr. Deb, Dr. Deb Goldwiley, on the radio, on the Hebrew Nation radio broadcast that they have. And so, and she is she's Jewish. She was raised in New York, has amazing stories. So she's familiar with all things, she's been seeped in it her entire life, has been doing Shabbat since she was in her mother's womb. So these are all things. And she and I were laughing yesterday because I was telling her, I said, sis, I have so many holes in my education of all things Torah and godly. I have huge holes in my education. And she started laughing and she said, don't we all? She said, you know, Brenda, every day is a new day and every day we're learning new things. And I can't believe all the things I don't know. And I'm thinking, you know, oh, she knows everything. She knows. No, because she said, we were talking about the Torah portion of last week, and she's like, can you believe how many times it said, it was talking about the ones with a heart that they would come before the Holy One and bring him offerings because they had a heart for that. I never read that before. That's like brand new. Never heard that before. And I'm like,
That
oh,
just got put there. You know,
I thought, oh, okay. Whew, it's just so good. No, it's not just me. So
Yeah.
this is where we're at, ladies.
Yeah, and
It
we're not
is
kidding.
new.
We're not
It
kidding when
is
we tell
new.
you. When we're saying we need a community to bring. We would want to see you
Yes.
posting like this is what the Lord showed me in this week's
Yes.
Torah portion, and don't think we're going to be like,
Oh, we knew that already.
we already
No,
knew that.
probably didn't.
Please tell us because we probably either forgot or we never knew
Yeah.
because we didn't
Yeah.
see that he was dealing
Mhm.
with something else with us in
Yeah.
that portion. So
And we haven't seen it from your perspective. And that's the
Right.
other thing that's so great.
yes,
Is that I may know how to spell the word Kodesh in Hebrew and how to give you
I don't.
pictures of that, whatever. I may know that, but guess what? What holy means to you and how the Holy One speaks to you about that. And when the lights go off for you, that's what I need to hear. That we all need to hear each other's perspective because we're not in this alone. And Charlie, I love that because I don't ever want to be that person either. And if I ever have, I just ask for forgiveness. If I've ever made anyone ever feel like I know all this and you don't, because trust me, 5 minutes, I won't know that what I just said. And if you ask me what I just said, won't remember. So
Monica, she has her hand up.
yes, Monica.
I've been sitting here contemplating whether or not I was going to say this. And actually, even before the call, I've been contemplating whether or not I was going to say it, because I'm sure you all probably hear it.
I'm excited. Tell
Hear
us.
it all the time. It's funny. I have been so, and not to over spiritualize it, but I have been so blessed since connecting with you all. I found you all through a Facebook algorithm when you all were promoting the Shebrews conference. And it's funny because at that time I was praying for, and I'm not trying to put any other Facebook group down, that is not the goal here, but the Facebook groups were not friendly. I'm just going to put it that way. They were not friendly. They weren't humble. If you ask a question, you would pretty much get beat up on because you should already know this. Well, I don't. I'm using air quotes here.
Yeah.
And
I'll do it for you.
In the future, I will show my face because I feel I am truly supposed to connect and engage. Right now, because I'm working and I can't have you all see my monitor because of the way I'm faced. Mm-hmm. But since connecting with you all, I pretty much have come away from the Facebook groups because it wasn't giving me the Facebook fellowship, again, air quotes that I'm looking for. Sure, there are some synagogues here, but it still wasn't quite what I was looking for. And I was in prayer, and all of a sudden, I kid you not, 5 minutes later, I log onto Facebook and Shebrews pops up, and it was one of my prayers. So to the prayer conversation, I was sitting there in tears because I'm like, oh God, this is where I am. I don't know how to pray. And then I was on my couch the other morning and he said, well, just talk like you're talking, like I'm talking now. Why does it have to be fancy? And why do you have to use certain words, or just talk to me? Just allow me to be your friend. Allow me to be your father. So when I was praying that day about Shebrews, and I was like, wow, this is an answer to prayer. And it was just 5 minutes ago. So I immediately, joined, because to me, I didn't have to pray to see if that was an answered prayer. That was
it was the answer,
it was
right?
the answer exactly.
For that moment.
So I immediately signed up, didn't know what I was signing up for. Now I have been walking this walk, Christian for 24, 25 years, but being aware of the truth, if you will, and Torah and all of that, maybe for the past 4 years, seriously, the past 2 years. So I'm still a babe, if you will. And so I immediately did the She-Brews conference. But even before the conference, I signed up for the Rooted Cafe because to me, it was everything I was praying for. And ever since that connection, oh my goodness, the people, okay, I'm sorry, it's a tear day. The people through you all that I have been able to connect with, the Purim conference was just wonderful. And by doing that, I was able to get into the, it's weird because I have to do it at 5 o'clock in the morning, but I was able to get into a creation gospel class. And then I have the Monday and Tuesday class with Dr. Alwine, and then the way you all break down, and now my heart has been so hungry to learn Hebrew, and I get on this, and it was like I was just being pushed to make sure I clear my work calendar so I can take lunch during this time to hear what this conversation was going to be. I do that every week. Like if I have a meeting, kid you not, I reschedule. The meeting I had was with my manager. This is our normal one-on-one time, but something told me, Monica, ask if you can change this time. And she did. She moved it to Friday, so it worked out. And then I had to check to see if she moved it to Friday during the portion, because, you know, we were going to have to change it again. But, you know, but I just wanted to say to you all, I'm connected to you somehow. I don't know. Even when I started reading the Rooted Cafe, and I printed all of the Hebrew stuff that was in there, and I guess I'm going to have to train myself. That's going to be interesting. But, you know, even when I think it was the first or second week after joining you, I'm paying attention to the portion in the Rooted Cafe page. And then Charlie comes on Shabbat and says, hey, Jacob's tent. And that's something I do every Shabbat. Is Jacob's tent. So I was like, oh, wow, you know, you have truly, you know, I have really been thanking Yah telling him he has truly made the connection that I was looking for. And you all are so humble, and you bring so much clarity and so much fun. You don't make anyone feel less than because they may not know. You absolutely immediately engage with people when they say they're going through, the sister who's a new widow, and you know, the lady who was just speaking about her husband and her kids, and how you all immediately engaged. It was breaking me down over here. I'm in tears trying to prepare my air fryer steak, and I had to stop because it's like, you know, it's like, I am so humbled and I feel so blessed to be a part of this group here. I don't know how else to put it. I don't know what else to say, but my heart is so hungry. And every time I connect, whether I'm reading an email, coming on here on Tuesdays, Fridays, it's like an answered prayer. And I just want to thank you all for, one, being obedient, hearing the Father. This is definitely a calling for you all. Absolutely. If you ever doubt it, don't. You all have the heart for it. You all have, like I said, I continue to hear the word humility, humbleness. It's written all over you all. And I just want to thank you for making this available for us. I mean, like I said, I've been blessed ever since. And I like how Dr. Alwine put it on. She said, you know, we separate in order to gather.
Yes. Every separation is in order to bring back.
To bring it back to like kind and like mind. And that has stayed with me since I've been in her Monday and Tuesday classes, because she says it a lot and it's so repetitive. And I know that was just God speaking to me saying, Monica, here, because I'm introvert and I like to be by myself. I kid you not, COVID has not been awful for me. COVID has just justified and given me a reason why I need to stay alone, to be honest with you. But he's pushing me out of that. And when I hear her continuously say, separate to gather. So I've been putting myself out there. Sorry, I didn't mean to take up so much time, but I had to. No. My heart was like pulling me saying, you have to let them know. Yeah. If the Lord only told you to do this for me, then it was for me. And it took me a while to find you all, but I am grateful. I am grateful for it. And I just can't wait till I can engage even more. So thank you.
Whew, thank you, Charlie. Thank you.
Yeah, Thank you, Monica. That was a word in due season. So
Ooh.
thank you. Thank you, because I'm not gonna lie, I get weary in well doing, and it's been a month of being weary. I overcommitted and got myself physically run down and mentally run down. And when you think it doesn't matter, because all you're hearing is the negative things, right?
Yeah.
And for you to say that, thank you, because it was the Lord used you today to share that. So it was a reason that he put that so heavy on your heart. I'll receive it. That was for me. So thank you for sure. I needed to hear that. Thank you. And thank you. I'm looking at the things over here. Fun. Mary. Yeah. Mary said that she listened to Jacob's Tent for the first time and that she saw Melody Joy was part of that group and singing. I sat across from Melody at a lunch yesterday, and I was trying not to fangirl. Like, you know how you see someone, you're like, I'm not going to try to fangirl. Like, I want to be like, hi, will you sing something? I listen to you all the time. I watch you all the time. I was trying really hard. It was really funny. I was so trying not to fangirl. And then, yeah, super fun. And then the reason, the reason, Monica, for me going to lunch on Thursday is actually meeting with these authors of all those Becky books, is because they want to do courses and they want to talk about that on how they can be part of ministering to all of you.
Yes,
So,
please.
so just everyone pray about that. Please be praying as I go and meet with all these Becky book authors, because I'm excited to see what he has in store for us and what he wants to bring to the women, not to overwhelm me with that much more stuff, but they want to come in and they want to be part of what we're doing. I spoke with Melody. This is just updates for you guys from Melanie or Bethany from Jacob's Tent, and she's like, I want to have lunch with you. Can we sit down and just talk? I want to hear what you're doing. I want to speak to your ladies. So yeah, it's exciting. He's doing great things. So thank you for reminding me why we're here, Monica. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you. I love you. Ina Ghoul, you have your hand up. You want to unmute?
So it's really interesting that we're talking about, it's pronounced Kadosh.
Kadosh. Mm-hmm.
How's it pronounced?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. That's actually been kind of like the word that I've been trying to study for the last 4 weeks-ish. And being very, very new to Torah, I have kind of been walking into the book of, well, Genesis I had no problem with, but like Exodus, I was like, I don't know what I'm walking into. I've learned all these things and I don't know what I'm walking into. And it's been exceptional because it hasn't been what I thought it was. But then it's been interesting because like now we're walking into Leviticus and I've heard that it's just a bunch of rules, regulations. And I'm like, well, how does that apply to my life? At the same time, I've been ridiculously busy the last month with us moving, renovating, and then getting a job and working maybe a few too many jobs than I should be. And just that I was wrestling this last Sabbath about, someone had asked me, well, why does it matter that it's on Saturday? Like, why can't you choose any other day? And I was just like, well, because that's what God calls us to. So it does matter. And realizing that that's kind of part of being set apart. We aren't set apart so that we can decide what is holy, not holy. We're set apart because God has already told us that. And that's kind of what Leviticus is helping us understand.
That's beautiful. I love the way that you said that. Yeah, we're hearing his voice. These are the words of the creator of the universe. So these are red letter words. We need to pay attention. He's telling us what he's thinking about things. And we may not understand them all, but that's not the point. The point is he's saying them. So we want to gather around his beautiful words. And we want to hear them. And we want to keep hearing them. And they'll trickle in. They'll find a landing spot. They'll birth life within us, and then we'll hear some more. And we might need to hear them for the next 47 billion years before we, get a grasp a little bit better. But that's okay. And so his words are precious. His words are beautiful. He is He is altogether lovely. And so his words are altogether lovely, and his words are life. So I love that. Thank you so much, Einigol. Put away my notes. So it is time for us to complete our day. And I just want to thank you all so much for being here. We are going to stay on after, so don't leave, those of you that are here live with us. But I just want to thank everyone who's joined us, either listening by podcast or on this replay. We pray a blessing over you. We thank you so much for joining with us and joining in the conversation. Please let us know. Put your thoughts and ideas down. Put what's happening in your life. Add that in to this conversation so that we can all be part of the experience that you're having. It'll enhance our experience for sure. All right, Charlie? Yeah. Getting to know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, getting to know how you're dealing with it. How are you walking this out? Yeah. Charlie, do you have anything you want to say before we get going?
No, I just blessings to all of you. Thanks for letting me hang
Yeah.
out with you today. It's been a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
I can't wait for the after party.
I know. All right. We will talk with you soon, and blessings. We'll see you next Tuesday.